party hats. Boom, boom.
The whole go bang bang here. Let us begin.
I want you to keep an eye out for the Boogity Man.
VHS Bandits.
Boogie! Boogie!
VHS Bandits.
Welcome to Coxwell
Don't
Academy.
need no DVDs, don't need no Betamax. These are the VHS Bandits.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the VHS Bandits podcast. This is Dane Train over here flying solo to do another little talking tapes sort of interview podcast. And I have Scott R with me today. Scott, hey buddy, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having me. Thanks
All right.
for having me on. Yeah.
Yeah. Some technical issues here and there, but that's the world that we live in, and we're finally glad to get you going here. This is your second time on Skype. All right, good stuff.
That's right. Second Skype appearance.
So Scott does a zine called Strange Tapes. You do other publications, and you do all kinds of other cool stuff in the tape community. You're a collector, and this is a long time coming. Scott and I have been talking for I don't know. It was I feel like it was like a year ago that you were like, "Hey man, I'd like to be on the show," and I'm like, "Yeah." And then it's just like, life happens. You know what I mean? And we're finally able to do it, and now's the perfect time. So
Absolutely.
So Scott, go ahead. Just tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us who are you? Who is this mystery man?
Well, kind of the bare bones auto bio here, I guess, is I'm Scott R, and I live in Chicago, Illinois, on the Northwest Side with my wife. We both make art. We both self-publish our own publications, and I do two different zines. One is called Princeploitation, which is a horror and cult movie illustration zine. And the other one is Strange Tapes, which is a VHS zine. And I'm a VHS collector, movie lover, all sorts of oddball movies, and pretty much obsessive about all that stuff. And I feel like a kindred spirit to this podcast. I don't know. You can just tell when you're on the same wavelength, and a few things sealed the deal. First, the Eureka's Castle Christmas special, a whole episode on a recorded off a TV Christmas special. I mean, I was like, I'm sold. I'm in. These guys are right up my alley. The second one,
just real quick. I was just gonna say, did I get you a copy? I'm gonna do this. I made an 8-hour Christmas VHS Bandits mixtape, and on there is that recording. So I have an insane amount of tapes of stuff that I've recorded over my life, and it's just like my Halloween mixtapes and stuff. It's all just stuff that I have recorded all throughout my life. So including in that I'll get you copies of all that stuff. No worries. I'll get all that to you. So
please.
sorry to interrupt. I was just excited. So anyway, I'm sorry. No. So continue.
No, I live for that kind of stuff. So please, I actually don't think I've seen your mixes, so I would love to. Yeah,
I will get them to you. Absolutely. You betcha.
And I mean that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my life.
Awesome, man. Good stuff. Yeah, it's funny, just kind of like how you say where, and I say this to a lot of other people who I interact with on our show. I've gotten to be really good friends with Mike from the Video Rangers podcast, and this guy Chase who's a DVD Creep, and Mikey from VHS Bloodbath, and all kinds of other great people. And the way I say it is I feel like we're all kind of cut from the same cloth. You know what I mean? And granted, we're all from all different parts of the country. I'm from Massachusetts. I'm a lot of, I don't know if you know this, but they call people in Massachusetts massholes. It's like a thing. And, but as you get to chat with other people that, hey, wow, holy crap, there's somebody else that's into old recorded off TV tapes or 90s kids movies or all this other junk that us us oddballs just happen to have an interest in, you know?
Right.
And,
It's like the universal oddball language.
Yeah.
Like we all speak this language only we all understand, and I love it.
It's
And
great,
like,
man.
yeah, I've met a lot of cool people through this too, and a lot of good friends just through collecting weird tapes, collecting VHS,
It's
whatever.
funny.
Yeah.
You know, because like honestly, when we started doing this, like we were always into tapes. Like before we even did the podcast, we did like a local access TV show on. We did 2 local access TV shows that centered around VHS. And like I did a horror host show where we would like put the tape in. We made a big deal about like the public domain movies being in a tape and. We did an action show. I'll get you all the stuff on tape, by the way.
Yes.
We did a horror host. I'm sorry. That was a horror host show. We did an action host show where we showed public domain action movies where me and T-Man on the show, we would like, and Kevbot too. He was like a cyborg and like we had these big muscle suits with guns and we would like save action movies on tape and it was crazy stuff. But even before that, and then we started doing the podcast and, honestly, man, before doing this, like I never listened to podcasts, and I was like, "Who the hell wants to listen to me talk?" Like, come on. And and then I started listening to some other shows, and I got other people that are like, wow, man, like I'm a collector too, and this and that. And then we got up on Instagram, and I was like, holy crap, there's other people like us that are out in the world. Like it's crazy,
Totally. Yeah.
It's bananas. And yeah, so you got in touch with me, and you said that you did. This zine called Strange Tapes, and you sent over a couple of them to us, and I am absolutely in love with this stuff, dude. I go bananas for this stuff. So I guess we could start off first by talking about Strange Tapes. So first and foremost, for those out there that don't know what a zine is, can you explain to our audience what that is?
Sure. So loosely speaking, the loose definition I have anyway is that it's a self-published magazine. It's a cost-effective way for anyone to create a magazine, and I think in the traditional way, a lot of people would just use like a photocopier, cut and paste, collage, even older, like using typewriters and just cutting and just putting it all together and throwing it on a copy machine, staple binding it. You've got a zine, and
right.
It's been kind of a cornerstone of subcultural, movements and things for ages now. And, there were like sci-fi zines back in like the 30s, I think, all the way up until, through the punk year, like it was big in the punk movement and metal and horror movies and almost any topic you can think of, there is or has been a zine on it.
Nice.
And it's just been a way to get the word out about what you like and you're passionate about, or what you're passionate about, and it's kind of a dated medium at this point, but we're watching VHS tapes, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, for us being into dead media stuff, like it works absolutely.
Yeah, I feel like it lends itself well to, or Strange Tapes lends itself well in zine format to what we're into.
Yeah,
and I think that. Yeah,
I totally agree with you. Because I don't know. I think the fact that, like you said, like it's all like this is all done by hand. I assume, right? I mean, like you are cutting this stuff out. You're photocopying covers and stuff, and you're photocopying these, and you're cutting them out, and you're like scotch taping or gluing it together, right? Like, is there any Photoshop involved in this stuff, or is it all done by hand?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and to the zine purists out there, I actually use a computer for most of it.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say, like, if you cut and copy, I'm like, whoa. So like, how do you do like the sizing of the stuff that's bigger? I'm like, whoa, man, it must take you forever. But yeah, I assume that there must be some computer skills going on in there, and then like you print it out, right? Yeah.
I still print it on a photocopier though.
Yeah, right.
I still go to Kinko's. That's the old school part of it. I go physically into the world and I print it out. at a Kinko's.
That's amazing. I love that. And I like the fact that, you know, a lot of these are like color coordinated, like your Christmas one with your green and your red. And then like number 5 is green. Now, one thing I did want to mention, and a big reason why I wanted to have you on, is because episode 6 has just been unveiled, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Issue
And,
number 6 just came out just a couple weeks ago, probably a little over a month ago now.
Yeah. And we might as well get some plugging out of the way here. So if people want to find this stuff and purchase it, you have a Big Cartel site. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
It's Strange Tapes Zine.bigcartel, I believe, but you can find it on my Instagram for the Strange Tapes Zine at Strange Tapes Zine on Instagram, and there's a link right up there at the top of my bio.
Now, in terms of, again, because I've never made something like this, and I would love to try it out. When you make this stuff, obviously everything is like, it's like a book. So there's all these separate pages, and you have to make them in a certain order. And of course, they're front and back printed. So you got to make sure that everything is in perfect order before you staple and bind everything together. And that alone, I could imagine, must be a lot of organization and a lot of work to make that happen, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, so the computer is very helpful in this day and age with this kind of stuff. Yeah. But there's still, I've run into some things. I have kind of old software. So what I do, I lay it out in this thing. It's called printer spread. Wait, hold on. So there's viewer spreads and printer spreads, and I work in like reader spreads or viewer spreads. And that's like the logical order of how you're holding the zine right now and you're flipping through it.
Sure.
But when you print it, you have to have it in printer spreads. And so like you'll see that there's like the front cover and back cover on one page. And then like there's just, it doesn't go exactly like how you're reading it, basically.
Oh, that's
and
so
it's
weird.
complicated. And that's like a thing I have to like, my mind just isn't like that. I have to really concentrate to get that to work.
There must be some real trial and error that comes along with doing that too, huh?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Oh man, that's where I would almost like, I don't know, draw a line in the sand. I'd be like, oh no, I can't do this, you know. But yeah, I just think it's so cool how this stuff is made. I mean, obviously the content itself is great, but just the fact that this is handmade stuff. You know what I mean? And now the binding, is that done at the Kinko's too, or do you just throw like a big stapler in there and just each one?
Yeah, I have a long reach stapler.
No kidding.
I've been making zines for over a decade, so I've had this.
Oh, no kidding.
Long reach stapler on deck for a while.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, this stuff is legit handmade. Now, when you make a batch of these, how many do you do in like a run? Like, or how long does it take you to make these things?
So I was printing out batches at first where it was like, I'm printing out 50 copies and then I'm handing off 10 or 5 to 10 to stores, like individual stores. And then I'm keeping an inventory and selling them on the Big Cartel.
Yeah.
But anymore, especially with the new one, like I'm printing them on demand, kind of my own print on demand.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So like, okay, I got 10 orders in, I'm running to Kinko's and I'm printing 10 copies. Cool. And I just save money that way. And it's kind of a pain sometimes, or I'll have a little reserve, like I'll have 10 on deck just in case there's orders or something. But sure. I'm not doing huge print runs anymore because sometimes they don't sell and you're just left with, I haven't really had that issue too much with the Strange Tapes, but I've had that in the past where it's like, oh, here I am with all these zines that I don't know what to do with now.
Gotcha. Oh man. So, just to kind of go through these real quick. So I don't have all of them yet. I am missing number 2, which I got to get my hands on. And obviously the newest one, number 6, that just came out. And, so I read all these when I first got them, but I love these so much that I had the flu back in January, so I'm like sick in bed, and I went through all of them again, and I swear to God that it helped me get through that. You know what I mean? It kind of helped heal me because it's the funniest stuff in the world. And the thing that I love about these is not only like do you have all these like wacky pictures of all these crazy covers and like screenshots from the videos and stuff and the backs and all that, but there's these like reviews and stuff that are in there, and it is like the funniest stuff I've ever read in my life. And my favorite issue thus far is number 3, because number 3 had the theme of, all right, you're going into like this one secondhand store and you just got to pick 10 tapes. You don't care what they are. There's got to be at least 10 oddball tapes that are in here. So you get them, and like they have like the goofiest, craziest little like reviews. And there was this one on this movie, and like there is like no actual review on the movie. You just talk about like some memory of some person nesting, throwing toilet paper into the toilet, and so of course, obviously listening to our show is nothing but poop jokes, right? So like, I'm dying listening to this. Reading this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so us. It's ridiculous. And then at the end, it's just like, I don't know why, but this whole story just reminded me of the cover of this movie. It's like that was the whole review, and that was just a riot. And I love that. And I know that you have guests that do some write-ups and stuff in there too, which is awesome. Me and T-Man and KevBot, like we would love to put some stuff in there. Like,
sure. You're welcome to join. That'd be awesome.
I'm sure you've heard of, one thing that would be perfect for this is, and it's like totally unobtainable is, I'm sure you've heard our episode on the potty training video. It's time to potty.
Yeah.
That's like a perfect one. And I pulled up a tape right here that I think is perfect for it. I had a friend who sent us this. I'm gonna unblur my background so you can see this here up on Skype. Oops, hold on now. There we go. Okay, so it is this tape called "The Art of Special Makeup Effects." And of course, on the cover you have this dude, and he's got like latex stuff on the side of him, and of course on the back you got like a picture of some dude. It's only 30 minutes long, and it's all about like how to make horror movie prosthetic effects like at home using like using cotton and latex and stuff. But it's so like it's kind of like deadpan in a lot of it. But like I don't know, like I love these kinds of tapes. You know what I mean? These little teeny little like special interest tapes, dude. I love this.
Best.
And the thing is, like it says, Volume 1. I don't even know if they made any other volumes off of this. You know what I mean? And of course, like the logo is called MBP, and it's made out of like worms and stuff. It's all gross and.
But sick.
It's just super cool. Obviously it says made in North Hollywood, California, with special makeup guy Michael Barnett, who did Flatliners, Tales from the Dark Side, The Great Outdoors, Darkman, and the TV series Monsters. But like again, it's just like you have like that awkward person just sitting there in the chair as some guys like mushing fake latex and cotton balls on their face. You know what I mean? And they're looking kind of miserable. But it's just great. So I love and like obviously these zines are just filled with all kinds of wacky stuff. And when you turn the page, you don't know what's going to come next. You know what I mean? And then there's like the ratings at the end. There's like the ratings of like your favorites and why. And it is just more than anything, man, like it's just like you could have like a terrible day at work and you can like run through these and it'll just make you feel a hell of a lot better. And that's what I love about these. It's just super, super fun.
Thank you so much, man.
It was great stuff. So
I need to get a quote from you or something like "It cured my flu."
Yeah, right. Yeah. We could put that on a cover. That'd be great.
I'm really flattered, man. That's great to hear that you like it so much.
I love these, dude. This. It's just, I love it. Absolutely love this stuff. And like every issue is not like the next or previous. You know what I mean? Like everyone is different. I mean, obviously, like the first one is mostly just like lots of like pictures with like a little one sentence thing at the bottom. And again, every little one sentence is crazy fun. Like I'm looking at like, rock and roll, sexy girls and sexy guns. And I don't want to get too much into it. So that way I want people to get into these and dive into these, but like, it's just so fun. It's just so goofy and fun. And that's what, to me, that's what tape, like weird fun tapes is all about, And again, it's why it's
totally.
called Strange Tapes. You know what I mean? It's just about goofy stuff and kind of, it reminds me of like our podcast, because our show is about getting these kooky tapes, getting with your friends, getting the junk food and watching movies and just kind of talking about them and laughing and having a good time. And that's what is encapsulated in this little zine, you know?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, man. That was the genesis of it all. It was like, I wanted to do something fun. Like, I do, I've had jobs. I have a job. People tell me what to do all the time. I want to do what I want to do, and I want it to be very fun. And, like, I'm just going to let loose and do whatever I want. Like, some of those reviews and stuff are completely free form or stream of consciousness.
Awesome.
Like, there's no rules. And like, that's what I love about working on that. Like,
oh, that is great.
it's like my first draft is the review sometimes, or like I'll tweak the first draft like just a little bit, and that's it.
Oh, that's great.
Sometimes I just like experimenting with it too. It just feels like a very free place to just experiment. So that's why like if you look at the intro to number 4, the Christmas one, like it just starts with this stream of conscious story about the birth of VHS, and it's kind of like the manger Jesus birth tied in, and like that just came out of my head, and I was like, okay, that's being printed. I'm not gonna mess with it anymore.
Dude, it's just great, man. The creativity and stuff, and again, how it kind of mirrors our podcast, because we don't retake shows. I've heard of other podcasts where they'll spend an hour and a half, 2 hours doing an entire show, and then they're like, "Yeah, we didn't like it. We have to redo it." I'm like, "What are you people, bananas?" Like, no way, man. Like, just do it once and just let it flow. That to me, that's what that's all about. Like, our shows is one take. We don't redo episodes. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? All the poop jokes, all the crap that you hear us talk about, man, like that is, that's it. You know what I mean? And all the burping and the farting and stuff that all the people on iTunes complain about. It's there, you know what I mean? So that's how it goes.
That's awesome.
So how long have you been doing the zine for? I mean, so far you have six. I keep wanting to say episodes, but you have 6 issues. So how long have you been doing it for? Just this zine alone.
Just this zine alone, I think it's getting around a little over 3 years now.
Wow. Nice.
Strange Tapes 1 was 3.5 years ago, I want to say.
Awesome.
That's loosely something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha. Good stuff. Now, obviously, episode 6 just came out. I don't have my hands on it yet. I'm gonna get it. For those out there who maybe have some other episodes or want to dive into it, what can they expect from the brand new issue 6 that just came out?
Oh, okay. Well, the new issue is it's the biggest one yet. It's 44 pages. It's got a lot more content. There's still the cover gallery of the goofy VHS covers. That kind of is the intro to it. But then we get into more reviews than in the past, which was a lot of fun, and more guest reviews. There's 4 contributors this time, I believe, and more interviews. There's 2 really fun interviews in there. My friend Ross, who does the video company Saturn's Core Audio Visual.
Yeah, sure.
Or audio video, sorry. He did this awesome review/interview with the director of an all-doll casted high school drama.
Wow. It's
called
awesome.
Cool Kids High, and
Nice.
it's just so absurdly obscure, and I love that about it, and it's so bizarre. It's actually all up on YouTube if anyone wants to watch. It's called Cool Kids High.
Nice.
And the director originally wanted it to be episodes. He was modeling it off of some Nickelodeon teen drama, and like him and his kid sister just used Barbie dolls and like a Vanilla Ice doll and like stuff like that to remake the show, kind of.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all shot on video, but it's a really interesting little interview, and so stuff like that, and getting a little bit more into found footage stuff, like stuff recorded off TV or stuff, camcorder footage stuff. And I recently found a tape featuring the outsider artist, musician, Wesley Willis, Chicago native. I don't know if you're familiar with him or not, but
No, no.
he's a pretty amazing subcultural icon. Like Jello Biafra of the Dead Kennedys put out his records in the mid and late 90s. Just kind of way out there stuff. He did a song called Rock and Roll McDonald's, which is he's most famous for. So
Nice.
you should look him up. He's interesting. But this is home video footage of him hanging out with a friend at a party, and he's watching Animal Planet and saying really obscene things about the animals on screen. And I write about it. That's in the issue too. So
That's awesome. Oh man, that's good stuff. So yeah, that's great. That's awesome. And I like the fact that it's orange on the cover, so like they're almost color coordinated. You must have like a lot of printed paper at home, a lot of like flyer and multicolored paper at home.
yeah, we've got reams all over the place.
Oh man. So let's change gears real quick into print exploitation. So you sent this over to me too. This is the Something Weird issue. And this is obviously I don't know what you want to call it, like the standard magazine size. That like if you went down to the grocery store and you bought a copy of Road and Track, it's the same size. And this one, doesn't look like it was off of, this isn't like regular printer paper. This is like a more of a bougie magazine, I guess I'm going to call. And, but there's still like a lot of, like what looks like photocopied and like cut out kind of stuff. And there's an insane amount of content that's in here. So tell us a little bit about printsploitation.
Oh, sure. So that kind of developed out of my interest in illustration, because I'm an illustrator, and wanting to bond with other people that were into movies and illustration. So I had friends mostly online that did illustrations for other zines, and like I had done some stuff for other zines, movie-related zines, and I just kind of like my idea was just to get people together who have like-minded interests and just kind of either get a theme or just draw whatever you want, like movie-based art, and then collect them all into a booklet. The original one was a quarter-size zine, so half the size of what Strange Tapes is. It was just this little tiny thing.
Wow.
And then it slowly developed into like almost, it's on the cusp of being an actual like magazine at this point, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I was shocked to like not see a barcode scan somewhere on it. You know what I mean?
That's what still makes it a zine. It's independent, and I do it. I fund it, and I do all the layout. I do a lot of the writing, a majority of the writing, especially for this issue, and coordinating the contributors and coordinating the printing and all that. So yeah.
Nice.
It's a fun.
Now, if people want to get their hands on printsploitation, do they go to the same big cartel, or is there another spot for that?
No, to only confuse things further, I have another big cartel that you can find through my art page or the Printsploitation Instagram at Printsploitation on Instagram. There's a big cartel at the top of that bio as well.
Now, you have a number of Instagram accounts. I don't know how in the world you keep track of all these, but let's go ahead. Let's get them out of there. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, what do we got? I know we have at least 3.
It's just 3. So bear with me here. At Scott R, which is at SCOTTARE, which is my art, personal, whatever, mainly art account. At Printsploitation, which is the page for that zine, and then at Strange Tapes Zine for the VHS zine.
All right. So everybody needs to go and start following those 3 Instagram accounts right now. All right. That'd be great. Now, this is the one that you sent me. There's Something Weird issue is number 5. So in total, how many do you guys have so far?
That was the last one I did. That was last year. It was a big undertaking, that issue, because, I mean, each issue seemed to increase in content and interest, luckily. and that one being affiliated with a video company was, I don't know, it was sort of like legitimized it even further in a weird way. Like, and having the current owner and operator of the company, Lisa Petrucci, involved, it was incredible, and she was so fun to work with, and it was like I couldn't believe it was actually happening, but at the same time, it was very exhausting
I
working
can
on that
imagine.
one.
Yeah, it's a
And
lot of stuff.
it kind of like I'm really not trying to toot my own horn here or anything like that, but it raised the bar for it, and like I'm almost like scared to do another one or something. You know what I mean? Like I don't know where to go from there. I have some ideas kicking around in my head and stuff, but I'm just kind of everything I do. Like going back to something we were talking about earlier, but like if I gotta have the right creative energy for it or something.
Sure.
Like right now, like my energy is just like Strange Tapes feels so natural to me right now, and it's so fun, and I want to watch weird tapes. I want to write about them. I want to collect tapes right now, and that's where I'm at. Like I haven't even been doing that much art. I've just been VHS obsessed in the quarantine.
Yeah, I hear you. So speaking of tapes, obviously you're a collector. So in terms of your collection, I know like on your Strange Tapes account, you have like this like rubber monster hand always holding tapes, you know, and a lot of it's a lot of the same stuff that's in the zines, right? You know, like I have like a lot of the goofy, weird special interest stuff.
Sure.
But obviously I've, you know, on a lot of your stuff, like I've seen like you have Terror on tape and more, I don't know what you want to call them, like tapes that I guess collectors would typically get into. So obviously you have a lot of special interest stuff, but like do you like, what are you into collecting? I mean, like what do you like? What do you like to get? What do you hang on to?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I'm kind of all over the place in that realm, really. But yeah, I mean, I still like collecting a lot of horror. Horror on VHS was the beginning of the collecting in general. And I think the special interest stuff actually spawned from it becoming very hard to find horror anymore out in the wilds of the thrift stores of Illinois and things like that. Like,
Yeah, it's everywhere.
there's a lot of collectors that, yeah. I mean, horror is just what people like, and I still have a fondness for it, but I love anything schlocky too. I keep that on my shelves, just like weird kids movies. Like shout out to you guys for doing Most Valuable Primate for your 100th episode.
Oh, dude, Monkey Month was such a dud.
I'm gonna have to disagree. I loved it.
Oh, well, I'm glad somebody enjoyed it.
I did. And
man.
the Most Valuable Primate has a spot on my shelf. I'm not gonna get rid of that for some reason.
Oh my God.
It's not
that's
worth
awesome.
anything probably in the collector
man.
world, but
It's
there.
That's interesting to say that, because I think I'm kind of in the same boat because a lot of the horror stuff it's gotten pricey, or like everybody wants it. It's the bee's knees, man. It's what everybody wants, whatever, for those Insta pictures, right? But like, obviously me and T-Man and Kevbot, like we have a soft spot for 90s kids movies, which nobody wants. They're worth nothing. So they're wicked easy to find. They cost nothing. And they're like goofy and fun and nostalgic because they remind me of being a kid. And that's why like it's great to watch, junk like First Kid and Blank Check and all
Blank Check.
And
I was
all
just
that
about
crap,
to say that.
all that stuff. Because like I don't know, like to me there was something about 90s kids movies where they could still kind of break the boundaries. Like in Blank Check, where like that kid gets smooched by that woman, and back then like whoa, but back then like that was like acceptable, I guess. I don't know, but I don't know. That stuff's fun and it's cheap. That's why I like it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Same here.
I try to pick up as much of that stuff as I can. So
yeah, I love that stuff too. I mean, I don't admit it that often to people, but now I'm admitting it on a podcast. I love watching that stuff. Like,
Yeah, there's
it's
nothing
like a
wrong with
brain.
that, dude.
It's like
You
a
know?
brain massage or something. Like I check
Yeah.
out, I eat Taco Bell, I watch.
Oh God, Taco Bell, man. Have you heard about the last time I went to Taco Bell? Have you heard
I
that
don't know
story
if I
yet?
recall. No, what
Oh
happened?
man, I think it was on a Mortal Kombat show. I don't know, but like I had like a near death experience the last time me and Kevin went to Taco Bell. It's like a whole dude, I swear to God, I spent like a whole half an hour talking about it on a recent episode. And unfortunately I can never go back to Taco Bell ever again.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
the
it's
risk.
too
That's
bad.
the risk you take when you
Yeah,
go to the Taco Bell.
Put your life in your own hands when you go there, you know?
Yeah,
So,
but
oh man.
as far as other stuff I collect too is I have to mention the adult movies,
Yep.
specifically porn parodies. Specifically, are some of my
Yeah.
favorites, and oddly, that section of my video room is what if someone's visiting, if they're a VHS collector or not, they're drawn to that section, and it creates the most laughs and absolutely the most questions.
Dude,
Like,
I totally agree with you. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Like, cause you're like, oh my God, they made a parody of that, you know? And, you know, what's always a disappointment is when you watch them and they have nothing to do with the source material whatsoever. It's not even like, they're not even trying. It's just like a movie and they just gave it like the title and the cover to get you to buy it and
know.
watch it, you know? So,
I know that's so disappointing.
yeah.
But sometimes they really go for it. There are a
Yeah.
few where they're like, man, they're sticking to the theme. All the non-sex parts, they're trying their best to pretend they're Fred Flintstone or whatever.
They're like the perfect conversation pieces on the
Yeah.
shelf, you know?
Totally. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
man.
have those, and then, yeah, stuff. I'm obviously interested in obscure stuff like regional shot on video stuff, but I mean, it's expensive, it's hard to find, and I
Yeah.
usually end up just buying, how to massage your horse or something, some special interest stuff,
Yeah. To me, like you mentioned, like local stuff, like here in the Boston area, like tapes that were recorded, in the 90s or something that has commercials with places that are no longer around or jingles of like furniture stores that are no longer like that. You know what I mean? Like local jingles and
God,
stuff.
yeah.
And like, wow, like to me, that's,
love
that's,
it.
oh, well, funny enough, dude, like no joke. So, like ever since I want to say, since I what is the word? Recovered from that cold, I mean, that flu that I had back in January. As a safety, I started to digitize every single tape that I had. And I just finished like a week ago, except for I have a couple of tapes. I have like a baker's dozen tapes that have a little bit of mold that I need to clean. So I have a little stack of those, but I went through like 4 VCRs to do it. Like they all burnt out, you know what I mean? And I do like 4 a day, 3 to 4 a day. And then obviously the quarantine happened. I'd be doing like 6. And I did the same with all of my like recorded on VHS tapes. And I had like a whole bin of tapes that I've had all my life that I've recorded, like when I was a kid or like my parents would record everything, you name it. Right. So funny. So I don't know if you remember, we did an episode on this toy store called Child World, which was a local toy store here in my area, which obviously went out of business in like 92 or something like that. And they had this like promo tape, and me and T-Man did a whole episode on this promo tape that I still have and I cherish. And it's just like, you can see it it's up on YouTube and stuff. And the whole video, it's like half an hour long, but it's just filled with like commercials for like Back to the Future 2 and 3 on Nintendo, and like some baby doll that like blows bubbles and stuff. And like there's these little interspersed videos with like kids as they like introduce the toys, and it's as if they're in like a TV studio, running a TV studio, like they're a production assistant and a director and stuff. Dude, it's great. So funny enough, I'm going through these tapes. I had no idea I had this. Next thing I know, I find a commercial for the going out of business clearance sale for Child World. like in my state. I was like, wow, crazy.
Wow.
Wow. That's so crazy that I found the commercial for the end of this store going out of business, you know?
Oh my God. That's like gold, man.
I know. It's crazy, you know?
That is, I mean, that's so exciting. I understand the excitement in finding something like that. I've combed through a lot of local tapes, like stuff I've had since I was a kid, or like the occasional one that you find. And just finding like the perfect local commercial is just like, I don't even know what to compare it to.
Yeah.
It's just an amazing feeling.
So speaking of shot on recorded tapes, not only do you have your hands full with your art, your zines, everything else in your life, you are a real jack of all trades, but you also have a YouTube account too.
Yeah,
where you
that's
put
true.
clips of some of these tapes and recorded off TV or home videos that you have too, you know?
Yeah.
And I run through there and I love seeing that stuff. Like you have a video of, it's a baby shower and the woman who's pregnant's like smoking a butt in the corner, you know, like that's awesome, you know?
Yeah.
It's
That's one of
riot.
my prized, found footage type tapes it's called Sarah's Baby Shower.
Yeah.
And most of it is standard baby shower footage in like a church basement. And then all of a sudden Sarah gets off on her own and she's smoking cigarettes and she's completely pregnant. And
It's unreal, you know, it's another time.
yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm glad you checked out the YouTube. I don't get to update that too much, but whenever I have something I feel like sharing, I'll throw it up there. I actually, through the quarantine thing, I've been digitizing a ton as well.
Yeah.
And just got to kind of like chop it up and parse out what I want, and I'll throw some more stuff up there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do the same thing up on Instagram. I'm going to take a bunch of those record off TV tapes, just like put some of the commercials and stuff on there, and
For sure.
make some other people happy. You know, seeing those little nuggets of fun. You know.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so when you get these tapes, do you hang on to them? Do you do trading? Like, what do you like to do with this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I have got a little bit more particular about what I keep, I guess, nowadays, because I don't know if you can relate, but like the hoarding got to a point where.
Oh yeah,
Now,
I know the
I have-
feeling.
I've got the shelf space, and then I've got like bins of tapes in my closet, and I'm like, this is an issue, I think. So
yeah.
I got a little bit more selective. Like, I'm trying to keep it to like, what are my shelf tapes, and I keep anything along the lines of Strange Tapes. I keep, I do trade. I trade with people here and there, and then I sell occasionally as well. Like, it's just stuff. It's like, I'm not going to rewatch whatever this Child's Play is. Like, I've seen Child's Play so many times. I don't need to keep it right now. And that's a weird byproduct of it, of the popularity increasing. Like, I sold a copy of Child's Play for like, almost $20. And I'm like, are you serious?
Whoa,
Like,
what? That's crazy.
I'm like,
wow.
This is 5 years ago. This was such a normal tape. Like, this is just something everyone had. And
that's
I
when
don't
you
know
know it's getting out of hand. Wicked bad.
getting out of hand. Yeah.
It's crazy. Someday that bubble's going to burst.
I know, it's scary.
Yeah,
Because it's going to, yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, man. So there's that. Is there any other projects in this in these bottomless pockets that you have that you wanted to share?
Upcoming stuff, is that what you're saying?
Sure, yeah. Or like any other cool projects that you wanted to talk about that you wanted the masses to know about.
I'm actually very excited about a couple upcoming projects.
All right.
Because I think the next phase is I'm going to make some books. I'm working on books.
All right.
Yeah, stepping up from the zine to a full book.
No kidding.
And
wow.
I've actually got two. I've got two in production right now, and
nice.
I'm so excited about. One I'm going to hold off on talking about yet, but
Sure,
the other
top
one
secret.
is top secret info here. The other one is actually, it's super exciting. I'm working with Josh from Lunch Meat on
Yeah.
collecting issues 1 through 5 of Strange Tapes into a book.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah. So Strange Tapes 1 through 5 are all out of print now. Because for one, I've been looking at Strange Tapes 1 for a long time, and it's had a nice long run. 3 years for something to be in print is a long time. So if people already have all 5, there's going to be a reason to still get the book because we're expanding it.
Oh, nice.
Excuse me. We're expanding it into, I guess we're calling it like collected and expanded. So it's going to be all 5 issues plus a bunch of bonus stuff, bonus interviews, and the pages are going to have more facts and background about the tapes and things like that. So Josh has been super cool. I mean, it was actually kind of his idea. He was kind of the one nudging me. He's like, dude, this is really important stuff. And I'm like, you mean my stupid, strange, like weird VHS thing is important stuff? And he's like, but I love his take on it and his positivity. And like, you know, he's like he loves documenting anything VHS. And,
Yeah, he's such a wicked nice dude. Wicked.
oh my
nice
God,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
He is. So I'm excited about that one. And it's been fun kind of fleshing out the ideas with him and getting it into production.
That's amazing. That's great news. Well, I can't wait to check that out. That is great. Awesome
Yeah,
stuff.
thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else you wanted to go over?
Let's see. We touched on most valuable primate. I wanted to bring that up.
All right, okay, here's some questions for you. And again, I always like to ask other collectors this. First of all, you like 90s kids movies. What is your favorite 90s kids movie?
Oh, that's tough. Oh, no, actually, it might not be that tough. I have a real fondness for the Problem Child movies.
Ooh, all right.
1 and 2, I had a home recorded Problem Child tape that I watched. I mean, you probably couldn't even see images on it. I've watched it so many times when I was a kid, you know?
That's awesome.
I think that's got to be it.
Nice. Now, out of your entire collection, what is like your favorite tape that you currently have that in your entire collection you're like, no amount of money can take this away from me?
That's another very good question. I always default to Edward Penis Hands and Beaver and Butt Face
That's awesome.
as a 2-way tie because I mean, those tapes just they're gold. I love them.
That's awesome.
They're still. I don't know why. I've had them for quite a while now, and they're still funny to me. I don't know why.
That's awesome. You know what? To me, honestly, it's that tape from that toy store, that Child World tape. To me, that's like my number one tape. No amount of money can take that away from me. You know, it's a great '90s kids movie, dude. I don't think I don't know if you've heard about it or not. It's kind of obscure. I think it was on Disney Channel when we were kids. It's called Shelley Duvall's Mother Goose Rockin' Rhyme Land. You ever heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I think I've seen images and clips, but I can't say that I've seen the video in full.
It is awesome. I'm hoping to do an episode on it soon, man. It is awesome. It's great stuff. Like every like rock or pop icon of the late 80s is in it. Like everybody's in it. And then there's like comedians and stuff. So like ZZ Top, Howie Mandel. There's just an insane amount of people. And it's about this guy who lives in the world of Mother Goose rhymes, and like every different Mother Goose character, like all these rhyme characters are like somebody famous. You know what I mean? Like I think like Whoopi Goldberg's in it and all kinds of people. But anywho, it's crazy, wacky, early 90s kookiness. It's great stuff, dude. You'd love it. It's great. It's probably up on YouTube too, but I have that on tape.
Yeah.
It's like crazy hard to come by.
That's amazing. Yeah, please do an episode on that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's great stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's that.
Yeah, when you mentioned like the Boston Toy Store found tape that you have or recorded, like I totally understand that the sentimental tape like holding on to, like no matter what. Like that's another aspect of my collection. Like I have a few tapes that are just like they don't fit in at all, kind of that are just like these are the ones I had when I was like growing up, and they're just like
you can't get rid of them.
I'm not getting rid of those. Yeah, so more along those lines. Like I have a copy of. It's the only Friday the 13th that I still have. It's Friday the 13th Part 3 that my grandmother bought me from Walmart.
Wow.
And she's like she was an old like Swedish church lady, and she like looked at the cover and she's like, "Oh gosh," and just like threw it in the basket.
That's awesome.
Like, oh, my grandma's buying me Friday the 13th.
That's amazing. Oh man, that's great.
But I'm never getting rid of that. That's staying on the shelf.
See, that's what it's all about, man, is like the memories that you hold with these things. You know what I mean? These
absolutely
dusty old tapes where like the sticker on the top is starting to come off, and you know, and like the edges are coming a mess. But like, yeah, it's that tape brings you back. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, dude. You know? Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, it's amazing, you know. So yeah, I think that ought to do it, I guess. So yeah, okay. Scott, dude, thanks so much for being on the show. Again, if anybody wants to check out Scott, he's got his 3 Instagram accounts. I'm gonna put them up in the description underneath the episode as well. We'll get you links to where we can find all of your material so people can purchase your zines. I want everybody to look out for his books in the future. This guy does amazing stuff. If you're having a lousy day, his stuff will make you feel like $1 million. If you're a tape collector, I guarantee it, you know? So. Oh, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And thank you for having me on. Very much. Thank you. Anytime you want to come be back on, you just let me know. We'll get you back on Skype for a 3rd time. So. All right. Hey, all right there, dude. Well, thank you. And everybody, be kind and rewind.